a bit too big for me. Oh my god, my voice. Oh. Okay. Oh my god, my voice is really hoarse today. So anyway. Oh, my throat. I'm dying. Anyway, today we'll be coding the asset part. So the asset off stream, I already made the asset working, and we'll see if we can still run the game. Yep, you can see at the top right hand corner. We did the hello. Oh, the hello world is wrong. Why is it wrong? Did I not pull the latest copy? I think I didn't pull the latest copy. Hold on. This is bad. Let me git checkout. Hold on. Okay, let's see what's going on. Did I not have the latest copy? This is correct? It looks wrong. Hold on. Okay, whatever the case is, I might have left the latest copy in another computer and I didn't, for some reason it didn't commit. For some reason. So let me restart this. And let's see what's the build that we have. I might be wrong, because I do remember committing this. Okay, that's fine. Oh, okay, so it is updated. Great. Okay, I just didn't build the whole thing. Alright, so hello world is right there. And now we are not going to do anything that's renderable. We are going to input something to text file. The one thing that we want to do that is irking me for a long time is that the asset system of the game is working well. It's just that whenever I add assets to my game right now, I need to do a bunch of things, which is really annoying. Which is basically stuff like this, right? Like every time I want to add a new bitmap or a new texture to my game or a new sprite, whatever, I kind of need to, you know, like if I put one more here, like if I want to add a sprite here, I kind of need to add this thing hard-coded, right? So I want this to be hopefully auto-generated somehow. So maybe hopefully today we can write the usage code for asset ID generation and to generate a file. So the idea I have now, the simplest way I can think of doing this is instead of creating this whole file, we're just going to create like these sections, right? So basically what we're going to have is we're going to have game assets, asset types. I'll probably change the name, right? So we'll take away this game asset IDs, put it here. Change my game assets to look at the ID instead, because they are no longer types, they are actually IDs. And then here we can just say like if we want bitmaps, we can just say, you know, hex include, and this is something that you can only do in C++ because of how dumb their thing works. You can hex include something like game asset IDs bitmap dot what dot h, I guess. I don't know. We can put it as .h for now, and then this thing will go into like the game asset IDs bitmap file. And same for font, right? We'll do the same for font. Font.h, right? We'll do the same for game asset IDs. Game asset IDs sprite.h. We might need to do this part as well for the pack default. I'm not 100% sure how to do this part yet, but for now we'll just deal with this, and that should be fine. Let me know if the music is too loud.
Mew.
Ah! my YouTube was watching Gura. Okay, so what we're going to do now is that we are going to actually code out this part, whatever goes into this thing, right? So ideally when I'm packing, begin pack, we'll just change this. We might, well, I don't really know whether I want to change his name, but we'll see. So basically, the dumb way I can think about it is we have 4 files, right? This is not very good, but I don't think I have a choice than to open a file at the start and then end the file at the end. So we'll just do this: bitmap file, bitmap ID file, font ID file. We'll have also a sprite ID file. Alright, so we have 3 files, which is great. Then when we start packing, we will start opening the file. We'll do fopen here. Fopen takes in okay, let's do this the the C way. Return dot file equals to fopen. Okay, let's put our okay, we have to call end packing somehow, right? So when the thing ends packing, close the files. Right. That means there's going to be cleanup code at the end of the day. That's fine. We'll call this, it's hard-coded. Ideally, well, it doesn't really matter. I think we can just hard-code this for now. Ideally, this is passed in, but for now we'll just hard-code it. This will be a write text. Yeah, and this will be called bitmap ID. Well, we can just call it bitmap IDs for now, right? It's just a bitmap IDs file, and we'll do the same for the rest. Bitmap IDs font IDs, sprite IDs, ID, font ID file, sprite ID file. So this is just for tests, and we have to make sure we close all of them. So F close. What is the thing called? Oh, P. Okay. P bitmap ID file. Bitmap ID file. That's all right. F close. P font ID file. F close sprite. P sprite ID file. Okay, so all we have to do now is pretty much for every stuff we do, we have to emulate this thing here, right? So let's say we do for bitmap. We'll do for bitmap first, and it needs to write out this whole thing, right? We're just going to test whether the writing out works first when I write out a bitmap. So for every bitmap in this pack, the pack will have its own ID, right? So under bitmap, for every bitmap we create here, we want to generate whatever that is happening at the right side here at line 16. So I'm just wondering, so we write here, and this is the part where we write to bitmap ID file, right? And bitmap ID, so we do fwrite. This is a bit annoying because we want to string length something. Okay, so we need to do something like const. Well, we can't really use const char pointer. We need to sprnf or something similar to sprnf. So I guess we can just allocate a buffer here. Right? We can allocate a buffer here. So like some kind of char buffer. Maybe I don't think I go more than 128 characters, do I? Well, we'll allocate 256, whatever, and call it a day. So we are going to write. We need to call string length. Do I have string classes that help me do this? That'll be pretty useful. Yeah, I have a string builder class, but it's not the best right now. I didn't refactor this well enough. Yeah, we have a string. Do I refactor it now? String class. You know, the way to do this is you get a string builder. Do I get the count? Okay, we'll just use this for now and see if it works. I haven't tested this code in a long while. And it needs some kind of refactoring. So it needs to do something like buffer, and the cap is array count of buffer. Okay, so this is the actual use case code. The first use case code for this thing that I created. So we create the buffer, and what we do here is we can push format. And here we can put in whatever that we had here. Default equals to pack default 16. So this is basically sprnf and d, right? And where d equals to this is bitmap index. Oh my god, it's perfect. Okay, nice. Nice. It's perfect actually. Then fwrite, what's the documentation for fwrite? Let me take a look. Fwrite takes in the first variable is okay, the last variable is the file, which is the p bitmap IDs file. Is that what I call it? ID file. Okay. Okay, and then the first variable they're taking is a pointer, so it's the builder dot strings builder dot count. Wait, no, builder dot e. Then the second variable is the size and how many members. So builder dot count and 1. Right? By right this should work. So we're going to run this. There's an error that says cannot convert parameter 1 from char. Okay, because char is not necessarily u8, so we are just going to use u8 here. Cannot convert from parameter 1 from const char. Oh, okay. Wait, const char? Why does it want const char? Oh. I see. The question is, do I want to convert this to like this? Now the problem with taking const char is, well, I had to call string length, which is not very nice. I mean it's nice, but I don't want to call string length in my system. So if anything, we'll just take this out. This is going to be looking. This is going to look a bit explicit, but for now we'll do it like that. String 8 from literal. So this is the literal, and then we can just pass in format like this. Okay, so it wrote out. Okay, I'm gonna briefly check. Actually, I can check it from here, right? We're gonna check the build folder bitmap IDs, and we have written out 1 bitmap. Okay, so we can do the same thing for the rest. So if I do this, I can basically copy paste the code for sprites. Oh my god, my sprite ID file. And this is a sprite index. And this is well, now we need to know the sprite names, right? So do something like this. And we'll do the same for font. Let's put some comments, right? Sprite ID. And this is test font. Okay, we write this. This is font index. Build under font IDs, we get nothing, which is not right. Oh, because this is, oh, okay. Okay, let's do this again. Right, okay, the font is here. The sprites are, okay, we need to put a /n at the back. We need to put a comma and a /n at the back. Okay, so we need to put a comma and a /n, comma and a comma and a /n. Okay. Okay, fonts are fine. Sprites are fine. And bitmaps are fine. Okay, so this is exactly what we need. to start. So now the thing is, obviously the names are wrong for some of them. So, but the thing is, the names need to start to come in, right? So the question now is, how do I put the names in? So for bitmap, it can be pretty simple. I could add it under Atlas. No, there might be multiple. Man, this is hard. We could do it in the... Okay, we could do it in this layer, right? The Atlas layer, where I build the Atlas before I pack, right? And everything will be decided on the Atlas layer, more or less, right? Because the Atlas needs to kind of know too, which is pretty annoying. So I'm gonna remove this first. We're gonna look at here and see that we actually need to have the bitmap name. So we'll take a const char pointer bitmap ID name. Alright. So we have the bitmap ID name here, and then we can pretty much take in the bitmap ID name like this. We'll say return.bitmap ID name equals to bitmap ID name, and here we can take in the bitmap default. I mean, there's another issue, which is that because I'm using enums, they have to be unique. If not, things will go wrong. But I think I can worry about the language semantics later. Whew. Okay. Okay, so we look at the bitmap default, and we want to somehow bring this name, right? Bitmap. Okay, we're going to call this bitmap haha, right? And the idea is we want to bring this bitmap haha into the bitmap IDs here. So instead of bitmap default here, we want to see bitmap haha, right? That's the ideal. So we're going to try to do that. Shouldn't be that difficult for bitmap. The harder ones will be the sprites. So here, we are going to look at the bitmap default, and for each, basically, okay, it's a little bit more complicated than I thought. So okay, hold on. Basically, when I add the Atlas, right? Okay, I have to do this for the packer then. Basically, everything here will need to have a const char pointer to the bitmap ID name. Okay, and everything is going to be static for now. Ideally, I don't use const char pointer, but you know, this is just a test. So I have a sprite ID name here, and same for font. Okay, that makes sense. You know what? Let's ID name. Yeah, like this. Okay, so every single major asset will have it that can be referenced by name will have the name here. Okay, so for when I add Atlas here, you know, you can add sprite, add Atlas, add font, all these things, but at the end of the day, they need to have the bitmap ID name. So it's going to be the same for sprite, but I don't do them for now because I haven't figured out the sprite side for the Atlas part yet. Okay, bitmap ID name. So what's the error? Add bitmap does something before arguments. Well, that's under. I believe that's under here. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know whether we need bitmap ID here anymore. We are not using this anymore, right? Okay. So we are not going to use this anymore. So that's great. Alright, and the bitmap ID will be the Atlas bitmap ID name that will be transferred over. 108 has an error. Add sprite has a what? Add sprite needs the bitmap. Oh, okay. Wait, do I? Okay. I'm a bit suspicious about this part now, but we'll move forward and see where we go. I don't know whether okay, so the thing is the sprite needs the bitmap ID and that might be a problem. Right? Because we have no idea what the ID actually is until we actually generate the ID, if that makes sense. So we have to we might have to kind of predict the ID at this stage. We might have to do something like that, but we'll think about that later because everything's kind of working ish now, but it will be something that we have to deal with later, which is fine because that I know I tried to do this really fast offline and I keep running into problems that is related to like things like that. So it is an expected issue. This process is a little bit more complicated than I thought. That's why I'm streaming now. Okay, let's see. ID name. Okay, and it should write to the bitmap IDs. Okay, it didn't write to the bitmap IDs because I didn't change this part here, which needs to be take in the well, that's kind of a problem. Does my own push format actually cater for C string? Oh, it does cater for C string. Oh, the big S one is okay. Wow, I'm godlike. Okay, sure. Oh, it does cater for C string. Cool. In that case, then it's really simple. That means I have done it already. So all I have to do is to do all I have to do is to grab the bitmap ID name, like right here, and bitmap ID name is not a member of Sui Packer. No, I don't want the bitmap ID name. My bad. It's the Packer bitmap PB. This one. Okay, runs bitmap. Haha. Okay, we did it. Okay, we need to do this for sprites and fonts. Alright, we need to do this for sprites and fonts. So we are going to do the exact same thing. So here we are going to wait, what happened here? Oh, nothing happened. We're going to do the exact same thing for sprites and fonts. So we need to look at this part here. And now the push sprite will have to take in the names, right? So what names do I have? Let's take a look. I have blank. Okay, we'll just call it sprite blank. Sprite bullet circle. It's going to look a bit ugly because of indentation, but it will be fine. If you have a wider screen monitor, it will look okay. Bullet dot. Okay, so it's very nice now. I know which ID correspond to which asset now. And we might even, you know, I was thinking that we might, it is even possible to change the file name to the enum name, and that will guarantee uniqueness between the enums, right? If I change the file name to the enum name and then just use the file name as the enum name, then that will guarantee uniqueness because you can't have the same file living in the same folder, right? That's actually an interesting idea. But for now, we'll do this because it's a little bit more flexible. Okay, so these will all have errors, which is fine because we are now going. Oh no, wait, no, not you. Eh, is it you? Yes, it is you. File name and wait, what do I take? Okay. Pointer. They should really take in a string though. Oh, but it's okay. Then I don't have to. Let me think. Okay, well, that's basically premature optimization. Let's not think about it now. Here we take in the sprite ID name. Okay. And then sprite. Yes, bitmap ID name. Yeah, we can just call it ID name here. On char pointer ID name was sprite ID name. We are doing it for sprite now, and so under Atlas, under Packer, sorry. What's gonna happen is that we are gonna just, where is it? Okay, under here. Okay, instead of test sprite, no. We have to do add sprite first. So add sprite here. We'll also add in char pointer, sprite ID name, and then here we'll just say sprite. Sprite ID name equals sprite ID name. Okay, we'll just call this sprite ID name. Sprite function doesn't take in 3 arguments. That is correct because under add atlas, I now have to pass in SAS sprite ID name. Sprite ID name. Just copy everything. Copy the pointer over like an idiot. I think this shows how small brain I am. Sometimes the way I organize things, like in hierarchies like that. Humans are such fallible creatures. I'm such a fallible creature. Okay, so the thing that we are looking for is this guy. Has sprite, and this will now write the name. Yeah, PS. Do I call it PS? Yes, I did call it PS. Sprite ID name. Okay, hopefully this is correct. I'm very scared that there will be a order issue. Okay, sprite blank, circle dot, black white. And okay, let's compare it with what we had that I hard-coded before. Okay, and see whether this is exactly the same. The invalid, ignore it. Right. So sprite blank pack default 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's exactly correct now. So we'll do the same for font, and then we are good to go. We are good to launch this. Okay, and then we'll refactor a little bit, and then we'll see how. So font is the same thing. Font will need this guy here. Font ID name. And then we need to what's that? Is it called? Push font. Okay, this is looking really good right now. Then after we do this, we go to assets, ID. No, we go to what do you call that? We go to our sprite, and then we need to say that this is called yeah, we're gonna give it a name, font default. Check for errors. No errors, which is good. That means I have complete understanding of what's happening. Okay, push leaf and font. Okay, and font will need to do something special. Needs to do this. Then this will need to pass in SCF on ID name. And then here we do the exact same thing. Wow, no error so far. I'm coding quite perfectly today. Alright. So this is %s. And we are going to push in the font. Wait, where is it? That's my PF, is it? Did I call it PF? Yes, I call it PF. So PF font ID name. Check our font. Bam! Yes, it's working perfectly now. Okay, so everything is working. The last... Okay, what else do I need to do? The pack default here. Let's see. Okay, the unfortunate thing that's happening here is that my code generation will not be able to pick up. I'd say not my code, my editor will not be able to lint this and pick it up, which is pretty unfortunate. Unless you know, I create a bunch of hex defines for these guys, which is pretty dumb too, and I also lose the power of enums, I guess. So basically these things won't be laxed. That's what I'm trying to say, which is fine. I can suffer some editor related stuff. It's just that when I reference them, it won't be very nice. But, you know. Yeah, I could do a special case, I guess, like... Yeah, but it requires me to change my editor quite a bit. That's fine. Okay, so the question now is, in here, everything's gonna be wrong because because the text file is not correct. Okay, let's call it .id files. Okay, and this will be like, or we can call it .enum file. Then we can treat this like enum, like bitmaps.enum, fonts.enum, and sprite. I don't know, c-enum. You can call this c-enum. This is a okay lah, let's just call it enum. Okay, so I'm just taking some time to think about this because if I use my editor, so this is an editor related problem, right? The thing is I have to pass this a little bit differently. But the question really is, do I even care? Maybe not. Just call it ID files. You know what? Let's just expose all of them. That'll be even better. ID file, font ID file name. Ideally everything should be in one giant file. That is my hope, but I guess that is too much to ask for. Maybe? Actually, I'm not sure. It is possible, right? No, it's not possible. If I want to do it something like that, then I have to kind of refactor a little bit more. Like if I want everything to be in one file instead of 3 separate files like this, it is entirely possible. I just have to because if I want to cater for multiple packs, yeah, I need another layer. We might or might not want to do that for now. Well, that actually sounds very possible now that I think about it. It's just another layer for the packer system that I have now, which is a little bit annoying to write up because it already has like 2 layers of stuff, which is the font and its glyphs, and then the asset pack. So what I mean by layers is that the packer already packs all my assets into one file, and one file, one asset pack can have 3 kinds of things right now: bitmap, font, and sprites, and that might be sound going in as well in the future. What I mean by layers is that there's another layer, which is every font will have its own glyphs, right? So code-wise, it's going to look really bad, but it's definitely possible. It's just a code cleanliness-wise, it's not going to look very nice. Yeah, that is entirely possible actually. But for now, we are just going to do something like this. Okay, then we take in 3 things. Okay, we probably should have an area for writing the code path. So we need this, which is dot code. Okay, then we go here and we say code directory bitmaps.id code directory. Which one is which? Sprite first, right? Sprites.id code directory font.id. Okay, moment of truth. If we write this, okay, it's written. Is it written to the code folder? Okay, it is written to the code folder. Bitmap haha, no, you are not bitmap haha, you are bitmap default. Okay, it's written correctly now. Okay, and then we look at the game. Okay, game will need to then the game assets. The game assets will then need to know. Okay, the game assets don't need to know actually. The game assets just needs to move this part here. So this is game asset IDs. Again, I can refactor this, but for now we are just testing. So bitmaps.ids like this, and it should compile. Like this part shouldn't give error. Oh, bitmap.id, right? Okay, and it's redefinition, so it does work. So this, okay, we're going to remove this, and remove all of this. Okay, so all that's left is the file that we include, and this will be we just need to remove everything because everything is auto-generated now. And then we put in the IDs here. The IDs of the assets are now auto-generated. So as far as the game is concerned, everything should be working. Everything should be working. Everything should be working. Fonts.id. Okay, everything is compiled. If it compiles, that's good. That means that all these things are being written in. So my game, even though font default, okay, that means I can remove this thing, right? If everything compiles, means I can remove all these things. And then this is, and then we call it a day, right? Because all the IDs are inside here, and we don't generate these, right? Oh my god, what's going on here? Okay, let's remove this. Everything is working fine. We look at the game. Okay, this won't be highlighted by my stuff anymore. And then okay, so everything is working. Everything is still working as normal. So our assets, the main thing is our assets have generated the correct code. So that's what I wanted to do today. Alright. We have a little bit more time. Everything is working right now. We just changed the entire generation of, we just automated the entire asset ID generation from the asset pipeline to the game, and the game is still working fine, which is good, right? All the assets are still here, my fonts are here, my spinning sprite is here, everything is still working normally. The difference now is that whenever I want to add new assets, I just add here. Like for example, I can just remove this, right? Or maybe I remove font, right? Like I don't do font here. Okay, so I remove the font here. I build, I generate the thing, and then I will have a syntax error. Okay, so it's compile time. So this is great because it's compile time asset checking, right? So if I don't have the asset, like it's not generated in the asset file, I will immediately know in the game as a gameplay programmer. So if I remove this and generate the assets, I will get a compile error. Then I have to put this back, generate again, and then there's no compile error. So this is the nice thing about having code enums auto-generated. So everything is auto-generated now. The only small thing that I don't really like is that my editor doesn't really cater for this anymore, because it doesn't recognize this as a thing anymore, and it's very hard to check what things are available because I have to jump to the file to see whether it is there, and it's very annoying. Okay, the next thing I want to figure out is I need to tackle this. You know what? Let's commit first. I'm gonna commit asset ID generation is done. Nice. Alright, the next thing we need to figure out now that doesn't really make sense to me is the part where the sprites need to refer to the bitmap. So my sprites actually are just UV coordinates, and it needs to point to a bitmap ID. So I think there is a to-do here that is related to that. Okay, here. To-do, this is a hack. This part here. Right. So I think I am dealing with this problem now, because this is definitely a hack. The question is, I'm not 100% sure. I have to look at how I draw sprites. Okay, so this is where I draw the sprites. I get the sprite using the sprite ID. And oh my god. I cheated. Okay, so this shouldn't be the case. Okay, so the correct code, right? This is because I just wanted to get the sprite working and to see if it's working. So the correct code should have been something like this. From the sprite, I get the bitmap asset, which is this, equals to get bitmap ga sprite bitmap ID. Okay, this will compile, and then I need to do a assert bitmap here. Okay, so by right, this is the correct code. So I need to solve this, and this will be the bitmap renderer texture handler. Okay, so everything will still work because everything is 0, but it's a hack. This is not correct, because this happens to be this just happens to be the correct number, so this is not correct. Okay, so if I want to get the bitmap, right? Yeah, it just happens to be correct. Like because the first bitmap is 0 and the first pack is 0, so this bitmap ID, which happens to be 0, will be 100% correct. It just so happens to be 100% correct, and it needs to not be that way. So instead of doing bitmap ID here, right? Instead of doing bitmap ID here, it needs to have the actual bitmap now. The Karu sprite here, right? It needs to have the real bitmap ID. It can't use the U32 anymore. But the problem
the problem is that the IDs are not generated, are technically not generated until the ID, okay, so I can't do bitmap ID here. Because ideally, I want to generate the file that creates this. So the file that has this definition, if I do my ideal way, will not have existed yet at the asset pipeline. So I can't do this. So we have to keep this as U32. The question now is that now I have to put the pack information into bitmap ID. So okay, so the way we do this, so if that's the case, all we have to do now is to go to our assets area, and when we write, okay, so this brings us all the way back to this dude here, right? And that we actually need bitmap ID here. So just now, when I was coding this out, I thought that we didn't need this anymore because that makes a lot of sense. But then I realized that it is still referencing, I still need it like here, and font, bitmap ID, and the assets here, bitmap ID. Okay, so actually this is not a big problem, come to think of it. Like, I get the bitmap ID here, and it's per pack, right? Oh, then it's not that big a problem. Is it? Okay, we need, that means we need the pack information now, right? Okay, so there's a few things to consider. The first thing is here. Do we still do this for pack ID? Or do we also name our pack ID? We should name our pack ID, right? Do we? I'm not too sure. It's a bit dubious. Like, do I name this? Okay, this is not trivial. Do I name this? Add sprite. I need to think about this. Okay, we got the bitmap ID here. Okay, so the thing is, to get the actual bitmap, ID, to get the real bitmap ID. So this is the real bitmap ID. The generated bitmap ID that you are interested in is basically the pack ID, whatever it is, bit shift by 16, all with real bitmap ID. So this is the real bitmap ID, right? And in this case, pack default, well, it can't stay as pack default, and we don't have pack default. So the thing is, if I want to do the patch, right, I will begin pack here, right? It needs to be of a different tier already, because packs exist like on a pack. Like if I were to put it this way, one pack manages bitmaps, font, and sprites, and we need some kind of a pack manager to manage packs, right? Like another layer. So this means I have to code out another layer anyway, which is really annoying. I don't know whether I can code it out today, but at least the asset generation, the ID generation is okay. Now the problem is the pack ID generation. Pack ID. So we did the asset ID generation already. We now want to do the pack ID generation. So yeah. Hello. Welcome to the streams. Pack ID generation. So we need to do something crazy like this. Like sui begin. Okay, so this is a temporary code, right? We do something like sui begin. So sui is actually just the name of the asset packer. Begin packing. And sui and packing. Begin packer. And then here we will do things like whatever we are doing here, right? So sui begin asset pack. Sui and asset pack. And then you can just add atlas here. Right. So this is the idea. This is the use case. The sui begin packer. That means I need one more layer because what we have is from here to here. And we need one more layer here. Hello. We need one more layer. It's so irritating. What do I do here, man? We need one more layer. I mean, we can do it. I'm just feeling very lazy now. But for now, this is kind of working. Wait, why does this have error? Oh, because it doesn't know what this is. I mean, it's going to be 0. Okay, so this means that here we need pack count, right? U32 pack count, so that we know what enums to write. And then we need a current pack ID name. Okay, I think we can try if this works. Okay, we're gonna have a pack count, and we're gonna have a current pack ID name, and then we are going to have we are going to have a pack ID file. Okay, for now, like ideally all this is all in one file, but for now we'll just do in separate files, and we see how. So I guess this is no longer begin packing. This is begin asset pack, right? And this is okay. I think we can do this. Okay, let's do it. And asset pack. All right. And then we have okay, this doesn't create the asset pack anymore. This actually takes in a sui packer. And then okay. Okay, we do something like this. Okay, let's do this. Return this whole thing. It's now useless to me. Return sweet. Return. I got return. And packer will be. Okay, this is not correct anymore. It doesn't have a return value. this will be, well, by right I'm supposed to check for now pointer for all this, but I'm a bit, you know what, let's check for now pointer. I was going to say I'm a bit lazy, but you know, let's just do it. Return is now p arrow, assert p bitmap id file, one id file, sprite id file. Yeah. So begin asset pack. It doesn't take in this anymore. Actually, this is, we can reuse the code. Oh, we don't even, we can just do this, right? Because it's going to append anyway. So this will work. Okay, so he is now returned. We can grab this code, put it here. That means this code can be placed sui begin hacker. We'll just dump it here. Sui and packer will then close all the files. So and packer and then we do this. Sui begin packer will grab this bunch of stuff. Begin asset pack will, I have no idea what begin asset pack will actually do right now. Doesn't seem to have anything special. Oh wait, we have to do it like this. This thing goes here. I wish there's a better way to like do this, you know, which is a bit annoying, but it's okay. So Sui and asset pack, which is going to take in all this stuff. And packer this we will take in the things and it will actually close the file. Okay, so beginning the asset packer will do this. When I call begin asset pack, I just realized something. My chat is missing. Oh, I found it. I was like, my chat is missing. Okay, I found it. It was too low. Oh man. And this will take in Sui packer. Okay, let's see if I can speedrun this. I think the coffee is finally kicking in. Okay, things are compiling fine. Obviously it's not fine. Okay, so begin asset pack will now take in a const char pointer, which is a string that will point to the pack ID name. Okay, pack ID name. Then we'll just say, okay, let's go to the Sui packer and see. Okay, we need to also open the pack ID file. Okay. Pack ID file. When we close, we of course close the pack ID file. 59 pack ID name. p current pack ID name equals to pack ID name. Wait, do I care? I don't, right? I mean, yeah lah, I care in the sense that okay, I know what I do care. Bitmap count equals to 0. Sprite count equals to 0. Current font equals to 0. Font count equals to 0. Font glyph. Yeah, these are the things I care about. Font glyph equals to 0. These are the things I should be caring about. Okay, so pack count will increment. So I don't take in the pack ID name here. I only care about the pack ID name when I end. Right? Okay. So we plus pack count. Right, the pack ID, we plus the pack count. Okay, how do you write the pack ID name? We need this whole thing, right? Okay, this code is all very messy, but we'll just copy and paste. Okay, so all these pack default will be now a string, and it needs to be the pack ID name, like so. Obviously, we should put this into a function, but I don't really care so much now. Pack ID name. Okay. Glyph count is not a member of Sweetpacker. Nani? Wait, then what? Font glyph count. Okay, fine. TF undeclared identifier. Let's solve all the errors. PF P what? Nani? Oh wait, this is different. This will be pack default. Oh, you know what? We'll just put the ID here also. So this is pack default equals to, this is not font index. Oh, this is just like this, right? Pack ID name, pack ID name, pack ID name, ID name, and pack ID. Wow. Wait, what? Okay, so here pack ID does not take in, so we just call this pack default like this. Sweetpacker does not take in 3 arguments. Then what arguments does it take in? What arguments do you take in? Oh, okay. Code directory packs.id. Bam. Missing bracket before identifier. Okay. Wait, wow. Wait. Wait, I'm confused. Why is there starting writing to wait? Oh no! No, wait, Choto. This is the wrong side. Okay, it's this side. Oh no, I have an extra file now. What a disaster. Hold on. Disaster! Where's my... Oh my god, I have a... There should be a file here that is terrible. File name, file... Oh yeah, it's under my build folder. I have rubbish in my build folder now. Where's the rubbish in my build folder? Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, I found the rubbish, but I guess it doesn't really matter since my build folder is not committed anyway. Okay, so IDs here. This will now include pex.id. And if you look at pex.id, we have nothing. Oh no. Why? What did I do wrong? I did everything wrong. Pack file. Okay, here we go. It should be correct now. Go. Nice. Okay. Pack default. Run the game. Actually. Let's look at the rest of my bitmaps. Bam! Pack default. On IDs, pack default. Okay. If I want it in one file. Oh, it's gonna... Okay, I remember why I can't do it in one file. It's because I have no idea. About a lot of things. Yeah, one file will make it really complicated. If I can find a way to make everything into one file, that would be great, instead of 4 separate files like what I'm having now. But even though it's not that nice, this is kind of ideal. So I want to add more stuff here. I can do things like this. Okay, let's refactor this a little bit, and I think I'm done. Right? Like nothing would have changed. Okay. Nothing have changed. Which is good. Because if something changed here, I'll be very worried. So everything is working fine. Our assets are now generated. Our asset IDs are now generated automatically. The only nitpick I have is that my editor does not pick them up at all, because they are not under the enum class, and they're kind of special case, right? So that's the only issue. So for that I need to change the way my editor works, but I don't think I want to care so much about that for now. I mean, I can... Like, do I even care that much? I mean, when it annoys me enough, then I'll do it, right? It might actually annoy me. Okay, so I think that's all for today. We actually successfully generated the asset IDs beautifully. And I think if the thing doesn't annoy me enough, or maybe I'll do it offline, I don't know, we can actually start doing gameplay. Or not say gameplay, we can start focusing more on the game. Or rather the game engine side. The game side, rather. And we actually try to see what we can code out from there. then we will actually close the chapter, hopefully close the chapter on assets and freaking move on, because I've been staying too long into this assets thing. Next thing we are going to do now is probably related to the debug commands, because I think debug commands is important so that we can jump from like one sandbox to another. We need to figure out how our game states work as well in this new system, right? Right now I have a sandbox thing and I have a lot of global variables here, which is terrible. I mean, then we need to do the debug console. We might want to start doing the profiler as well, or some kind of profiler, so that I can actually time things. Well, I don't really have things to time yet, but it would be nice to have a way to see what things are actually like taking too long without writing to console. That'll be great actually, which is something that my previous game don't have. The other thing, okay, let's do the to-do list. So asset lookup is done. Oh, we have to do sound. Do I want to do sound first? Let me think. Okay, so one thing is debug console, debug profiler. Debug profiler have a few things I have in mind. One is the time blocks. So basically I can define which block of code I want to start timing, and somehow display them over time. Yeah. Then I had to think about graphs, I guess. No lah, but I guess we'll do it step by step. Okay, so this profiler thing is probably really big. The console is also really big. What other things we need to do? Sound is gonna be... Sound I don't think will be that big, because I actually have the reference code from my previous project. The next thing we want to do, the most important thing, because I actually have an idea of a game that I want to make, but the current engine shouldn't... The current engine logically shouldn't be able to cater it. But before we even think about it, I want to see whether there is a way to optimize... I want to explore whether there is a way to have a matrix that will deform... Is there a way to auto-generate a matrix that will deform a triangle into any other triangle? Like, is there a formula for that? If there is a formula for that, then we can start coding the renderer to actually cater for that. Then it will be a reasonable... Then it will actually be a reasonable... it will be a reasonable thing to do. Because if there's no way to do it, then there's no point writing this game. Like, I mean, there is some point, but it won't be like nice, right? So find out if there is a way to generate triangles to deform a single triangle to any other triangle. There's a automated way to deform a triangle to any other triangle. If so, if there is, upgrade renderer to cater for that. Okay, I think that's all for today. I'll release this in I'll archive this because some of my friends might want to see this as well. This is a good step forward. I can finally leave asset. I think I can finally leave asset generation behind. Maybe there will be some tweaks here and there to, you know, if I have a good idea on how to do everything in one file instead of like multiple files like what I'm doing now. But yeah, I think this is good. Good for now. I might stream later, might do some work. Today is kind of my rest day and consultation day. But if not, thanks for dropping by. Otsu, please have fun programming. And maybe I'll play Vampire Survivor later. You can follow me on Twitter. Actually, I do have a Discord already, but I need to go find the link. Maybe in the next one. Okay, bye-bye.